Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the H-Town Heel Show for our second series recap of the year. The Astros sweep the Boston Red Sox in a very, very dominant fashion, scoring 6 or more runs in each of the game as the Astros offense finds a stride and the Astros pitching bounces back a little bit. And let's start off with game one. So, Heel, you think this is a very promising start. Do you think the Astros might be back?
Yeah, it was glad it felt so good to play the Rockies twice before we hit the Red Sox. But
You're
no,
good.
no, no. But yeah, I'm really excited uh about this series. It has me hyped up about the future, but just take one hold about the future and we'll get to that later.
All right. Game one was between Lance McCullers Jr. and Ranger Suarez. Final score of 8-1. And Lance McCullers is a guy who, going into this year, we were just really uncertain about. He didn't look particularly good last year. He had multiple IL stints, and the velo was down, the location wasn't there, and he just seemed like he didn't know who he was last season coming back from that super long injury recovery. But now, seemingly having a full healthy offseason under his belt, a chance to work on who he could be as a pitcher, and working with the pitching coaches and everything, and getting to go through all the spring training routines, he dominated his first start of 2026, throwing 7 innings, which to that point was the longest a starter had gone for the Astros. Um, had 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 earned run, and he just looked flat out dominant. He was locating his pitches, he was attacking the zone, throwing strikes, getting ahead of the counts in majority of his at bats, wasn't allowing much hard contact, and it's just he. I feel like he turned this, in my opinion, might have been the spark that the Astros needed to get rolling. Because a guy like Lance, you know how high energy he is. You know all the fist pumps he does and the yells that he does. He's just like the heart and soul. Him, I feel like him and Correa are pretty much the heart and soul of this team. Like I feel like we got to see pretty much like a vintage 2017 or 2019 Astros game with Lance on the mound and Correa making plays behind him. What were your thoughts on his start,
I
Heel?
remember the last time we were on here. We were both in agreement that it would be nice if LMJ went 5 or 6 innings to give the bullpen a rest. Well, he said, hold my beverage, and he went 7 innings.
Yeah.
So he did excellent. And I do get this vibe from LMJ, like he's on a mission. Like he wants to still prove that he belongs on this pitching rotation, and he wants to prove just how great he can still be. Because at one point everyone was like, let's trade LMJ. Does LMJ even have it anymore? Oh, he's just, an injured reserve type of guy, all the criticism in the world. And man, this season it is literally, the LMJ revenge tour, quite literally. And it is so good to see.
Yeah, it was so good to see how happy is what he was, his teammates, his family, teammates' families on social media. And that's just the energy that we need from him, especially if he's gonna be the five starter. Having him at being the fives reset the rotation is so valuable. And just being a guy who can go out there and give you, yeah, it's just one game, we got to take it one game at a time. There's going to be bumps here and there. Not every start is going to be like this, but if he can be 80 or 70% of what that start was majority of his games, we may have found just another weapon for this rotation that we didn't think we were going to have, which is something that me and Heel were talking about off air, is like just how important that is. And as Heel mentioned earlier, that the bullpen was very taxed up to that point with the Astros starters not going really deep in the games in that Angels series. And he gave the bullpen a complete reset day. Ryan Weiss, who didn't pitch the day before, came in for the final 2 innings. He had 3 punchies, 1 walk. He looked really good compared to his first outing, and having right this this depth that we have of pitchers who can go multiple innings, AJ Bluebaugh, Kaiwei Tang, Ryan Weiss is just so valuable to have, and just really, really impressive so far.
And let's not forget to give love to the only, the one and only Mighty Mouse himself, Jose Altuve, with 2 home runs this game.
Yeah, he had he went 4 for 4 today with 2 home runs, pretty much at the same spot in the Crawford boxes, and he had another hit, and he had no one thing, more important thing to point out: no strikeouts, 1 walk. Altuve has more walks than he has strikeouts. His approach looks completely different. He he's being more patient at the plate. He's letting counts. You know, you know how we mentioned earlier in the season that Altuve, he's a free swinger. He's a guy who's going to be aggressive early in at bats. He's going to swing at the first pitch. Some at bats, he looks like he's a professional hitter, future Hall of Famer. The other at bats, he's swinging at pitches out on the other side of the plate and falling to his knees. But this looks like a completely different Altuve so far this year, and it's a welcome sight and very, very valuable for the lineup.
Yeah, and this is really going to be just a quick review because, again, I mean, the only thing we can really point out is the fact that Bryce Matthews also hit a home run this game.
Yeah, he crushed that one. He over to the home run pump, like 434 feet. Bryce Matthews, he's a really nice guy to have off the bench, fill in for those spots. He's got raw, he's got raw tools. I'd say his power is still, he still needs time to develop, but the tools are there, and the pop is, in my opinion, the pop is very underrated aspect of his game. He crushed that ball.
Yeah, like this game was just simple and straightforward. It was just an utter butt whooping of the Red Sox. And
I mean,
yeah, it
got Jordan Alvarez crushing a home run. Jordan Alvarez has been probably the best hitter in the league so far, if I were to say this year. If not number one, number two.
yeah, I have to look up stats, but literally, I mean, I think he's been better than Shohei in terms of DHs. Uh, but like either way, regardless, he would still be the second best DH in the game just off of pure hitting. I mean, and then on top of that, if this team just keeps clicking the way they are, I mean, this team is gonna be absolutely like steamrolling every team that they see like this because it's not like the Astros went out there and they just faced like a guy that just got called up from like AAA. They were facing Ranger
No, they face Ranger
Suarez,
Suarez.
yeah, who's one of the best lefties in MLB today. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Christian Walker had a big double. He's been a doubles machine. I believe he leads the lead in doubles so far. And just like I said earlier, seeing Christian Walker catch up to the ball, catch up to high velocity, he slimmed down a little bit, and he just looks like he's in great shape, and he's ready to prove all his doubters wrong who were in the offseason claiming to DFA him, trade him. He's Jose Abreu 2.0. He looks the part, and I'm really hoping for a big year from Christian Walker based off what we've seen so far.
But yeah, like again, we talk about LMJ going on a revenge tour. Christian Walker is on his.
Yeah, we got 2 revenge tours so far this year. We got the one on the pitching side, and one on the batting
Yeah.
side. Even there were even productive outs, and even the Astros outs were productive. Correa got into a double play that scored a run. Yainer Diaz sacrificed fly, scored a run, but that's just because the Astros were constantly putting runners on base, which is something they worked on this spring training, and being more patient at the plate, getting walks, taking advantage of errors. The Red Sox had quite a few errors this series, and the Astros took advantage of it, which is something that the previous Astros teams of the golden era would do, was take advantage of those mistakes, take advantage of those walks. And They did that to a T in this series.
Yeah. Um. So, I guess now we can go to game two.
Yeah. Final score of game one was 8-1. Astros win. Lance McCullers gets his first win of the year. And now we go to game two. I unfortunately was not able to watch this game live as I was at a Philadelphia Phillies game. For those of you who don't know, I do live in Philadelphia, but I am born and raised in Houston. So, and we had Hunter Brown going today versus Brian Bayo, who is a very promising young pitcher for the Red Sox that the Astros also did really well against.
I mean, pretty much same thing to talk about. Uh,
Pure domination, yeah.
yeah. Um, Brian Bayo, like you said, really good pitcher. Brian Bayo has done really well for the Red Sox. I think it have they extended him already? I think they have. Uh,
I don't know if they've
yeah,
extended him.
if
I'd have to
not,
look
I'm
that
pretty
up.
sure they at least talked about it. Point is, Brian Bayo's a really good pitcher. He's bordering on ace material. And and obviously, you know, going into this game, looking at the pitching matchups, you wouldn't be that worried. You'd be kind of worried because at the end of the day, it's still Brian Bayo and the Red Sox against the Astros. And well, the Astros just said, hold my beverage. I'm gonna get, yeah,
Here's Hunter
I'm gonna.
Brown.
Not only that, on
Deal with
offense,
it.
I'm gonna go show you how easy this is. Like, it was just fun to watch.
Yeah. Hunter Brown, your ace on the mound, goes 6 innings, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 8 punch outs. That's just classic Hunter Brown right there. And he has the run support to back him up. Better than his first start. He could have gone one more inning, but I feel like the Astros just kind of were being a little careful, wanted to, because his pitch count was really high in his first start. And finishing out the game was Cody Bolton, who was called up from Sugarland, and Christian Roa was optioned to get a fresh arm in the bullpen. And the Astros once again didn't have to use any of their high leverage guys in this game. Cody Bolton goes 3 innings, goes what 3 hits, one earned run, 1 walk, 5 Ks. And his stuff looked pretty good. I saw some of the highlights. I didn't see exactly every pitch that he made, but from what people were telling me and from the highlights, it looked pretty decent.
I mean, yeah, and once again, Jordan Alvarez goes deep again. I mean, this guy is. I mean, at this point, like if he continues this hot streak, like 2 months from now, he might be an MVP talks.
Think about it. He only played 48 games
Yeah.
last year, and out the gate last year, he had that hand injury that was dealing with him. He didn't start off really good. This is a man on a mission. He just makes it look so effortless. Like he makes baseball look easy. Just how effortless his power is, how he gets on base. That home run went 400 feet, 33 launch angle, 111-mile exit velocity. Just so easy for him. And he should have 4 home runs, but obviously the Astros didn't never want to open the roof on a nice day in Houston. So should have 4, but he has 3. It's 4 in my heart.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it is what it is. Point is, this guy is just launching them. Like, if you make a mistake, I mean, he's not only going to capitalize, he's going to capitalize with a purpose.
and he is just doing his it's a lefty, he's dominating lefties. He That's just what he does. They'll try. I've seen teams try and put a lefty in against him, and
Well,
he doesn't care. He's
I
gonna mash
understand
them.
the comfortability of having like that matchup lefty on lefty, but I still don't understand why teams do it against Jordan. Like, um, I, that was one thing the Angels were right on, aka Kurt Suzuki, the manager. If you're if you're at the point where you want to put a lefty on Jordan, just walk him. cause like, cause like he hits better against lefties. I feel like he prefers a lefty. So yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, the Angels, they didn't want nothing to do with him. So they pitched around him. He still got them a little bit, but the Red Sox, they said, we're not gonna pitch around you. We're gonna try and challenge you. And this is what happens when you pitch to Jordan. He punishes you for it.
yeah, and pretty much the talk of this whole and also Cam Smith gets on the board with his first of the year.
Yeah, Cam Smith, he hasn't had a super hot start to the year, but he also didn't last year, but he just looks like much more of a professional ball player out there. You know, not I'm expecting him to get it going here in a little bit, and we'll see it slowly but surely. But he's been pretty productive to this point. Just nothing too crazy, but he's eight after this game. Only batting 211, but a 821 OPS.
Yeah,
That's pretty good
I
in my
I think
opinion.
last year was all about finding his comfortability, seeing if he can even play right field. This year, I think he's just all about showing off the athleticism and everything that they can do in general.
He's an
Yeah,
athlete,
like
man. Have you seen some of the balls that he has tracked down? He's running like half a football field to get some of these balls
yeah,
that he's
like he's
getting.
not gonna have the crazy power that Kyle Tucker like that once had, but again, he's gonna be
He's gonna
yeah,
win a
like
Gold
he's
Glove.
gonna be crazy out there in right field. He's gonna rob you probably a few home runs if he can. He he
He almost robbed one in
yeah,
this
he's just
game.
gonna be a crazy stud out there.
you know, and if the bat gets going, which I think it will, this will be great.
Yeah,
And Christian Walker continues to mash the ball. He had a single that scored 2 runs early on in the game to get them going, and just he had another hit in the game, and Christian Walker at that point was batting 333 with a 988 OPS, and he just looks so much more comfortable out there. His swing looks so much better, and just man, just it just looks so good to see him. Like it's like we're kind of repeating ourselves with how eerily similar
yeah,
these games.
exactly. And then I got to a point, and then I think the game got to a point where Joe Espada was like, "Hey Siri, who should I choose for the bullpen?" And then he's like, "Oh, Cody Bolton."
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
yeah, yeah. Joey Loperfido also had a hit in this game. Cam Smith had 2 hits. Yanner Diaz, he did go 0 for 4, but he didn't strike out though. You know, Jake Myers, he went 1 for 4, 1 strikeout, 1 hit. Jake Myers, you kind of know what you're getting with
yeah.
him. He's gonna give you good defense. He's gonna give you a couple hits here and there. And then Jeremy Pena did play in this game. Did have 5 at bats, 1 hit, but the Astros are still taking it slow with him. You know, not rushing him back from his
Yeah.
injury.
Again, just a really dominant like showing, and it's against one of, if not arguably the best team in the AL East. So really good.
Mhm. Yeah, and Carlos Correa, he had 2 hits in this game. Having Correa back and that leadership is just so important. The Astros did win a World Series when he left, but you still had Alex Bregman. But those years without Correa and Bregman, I feel like the Astros just didn't have that true leader who they needed, who players could rally behind, who players could look up to. And Correa just being that veteran, even though he's like only like 31, he's just being able to get him back from the Twins who wanted to salary dump him for essentially free, I feel like was just a win-win move for both sides because Correa belongs in Houston. He needs to retire an
Yeah, he
Astro.
he does fit so well. I mean, like literally, I get it. He's not going to be like essentially the same Correa he once was, probably, which is crazy to say considering he's only 31. But he's going through something with his foot, I believe, that he can't really change. But even at that, he's still a really good player.
Yeah. he's making crazy plays at third base and shortstop. He's rotated between third base and shortstop this year and has just made elite
Yeah,
plays.
like it's just nice to have those types of guys that aren't afraid to like show emotion and all that, and it also makes the team, you know, feel like it has leaders in the locker room and everything like that. Uh, um, I guess if we want now, we can go to the third game, which there's actually more to talk about. uh,
This game was a little bit more of a competitive game. Astros win 6-4. Mike Burrows makes his second start or second go around. And it was better. I'd say better than his first outing. He was still kind of a soft contact was kind of an issue. He walked 3, struck out 6, 2 earned runs. It wasn't perfect, but it definitely was better, and it's a good sign of things to come as he sort sorry, excuse me, as he sort of settles down with the Astros and kind of gets his footing, you know?
yeah, so the good news is with Burrows is that he only gave up two on runs. That's the good news. Like he's starting to find it, and they showed the pitch usage. Sorry, as like he was, as he was doing the interview at the end of the game, versus at the time he was pitching to the Angels, and it turns out he does better when he's more aggressive with the fastball and sinker combo. So I hope he sticks to that and sticks to that and see if it works.
I did notice that he started throwing his curveball and struck out a couple more people on that curveball, and it was a little bit better for him. But like you said, things will he'll settle down. He'll get better as time goes on. And the Red Sox had their ace on the mound, Garrett Crochet. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 7 strikeouts.
Yeah, that was scary for me because as soon as I heard we're facing Garrett Crochet, I'm like, okay, this might be a game that we lose, and if we do, so what, But again, the Astros came in and they did really good against Garrett Crochet. They did absolutely amazing. Um,
One thing I've noticed is that over this little 5 game stretch, when when the road team scores, the Astros typically answer back. At the beginning of the game, Wilson Contreras hit a single to score Yoshida, but then the next inning, Isaac Paredes doubles, scores Jordan Alvarez, who got on base pretty early on. And then Christian Walker comes up again, just completely dominating his ABs, singles, and scored Carlos Correa, who was on second. Then, Jaron Duran, there was a little traffic on the base, tie game at that point. And then, it wasn't, it was the Astros kept it pretty competitive and then they were able just to score. The Astros did go a little bit quiet for the next 3 innings. Garrett Crochet was getting a little bit on the rocks. He puts them in on base. And who else but to come up and hit his first home run at Minute Maid Park, aka Dyken Park, in since 2021, I believe, Carlos Correa. And you could just see the emotion on his face. The fans went crazy, dugout went crazy, bullpen went crazy. That was just it almost made me shed a tear. That's how beautiful it was.
yeah, it really was emotional. And, you know, um, as we were talking about, off the air, that was one of those moments where like the bullpen was getting hyped and they're like everyone was basically asking for a standing ovation and Craig was like, you know.
Yeah, he didn't notice until the end
Yeah,
there.
that should end up on the baseball card somewhere, to be honest with you.
And then bottom of the seventh, Christian Vasquez got the start over Yainer Diaz today, and he hit a bomb into the Crawford boxes. And having Christian Vasquez back, I really like him. The Astros have typically always had a decent backup catcher throughout this Yainer Diaz era, whether it was Maldonado, whether it was Victor Carantini, and now Christian Vasquez. I've always disliked their approach to this, having a veteran behind him who can go in and just sometimes even outperform him. Some people are probably going to start wanting Christian Vasquez
It's
to
not
start
gonna
now.
surprise me, but I will say this: Yonder does need to put together a bit better at bats because, like, I think this is Vasquez's second home run. Oh,
It's his
first.
first home run, but he did hit a in, in the last game. He had a pretty clutch two
Okay.
RBI single, I
Yeah, because
believe.
like Vasquez does seem like he's coming up better in the clutch, which Yonder does need to perform better when watching that. Because like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm I'm not going to count Yiner completely out, but if it's like, let's say like mid-April, getting
Hmm.
closer to May, and he is still struggling, then maybe we need to have a conversation.
Yeah. Um. Because like at some point you just can't fix something that doesn't want to be fixed.
Yeah, you have to be coachable, and if he is just going to go up there and just swing at everything, then you're not coachable at that
Yeah.
point. Um, AJ Bluebaugh, he comes in for an inning. He continues to be absolutely dominant out of the bullpen. Having him is just so. I feel like he could potentially transition into a starter when the Astros go to a 6-man rotation at some point. The Astros, I thought initially were going to start off with a 6-man, but apparently towards the end of the spring training they decided not to. But personally, I like Bluebaugh out of the bullpen. I think he's a weapon out of there.
Yes, I do like the option of blue ball out of the bullpen. Uh, you know, I just think he fits really well in there, like you said, and I think it's just great. Like I was saying last time during the Angel series too, is actually I think he pitched there as well. I do like having that guy in the Christian Javier role, and I think he fits it well.
Brian King came in for an inning. He looked good, 2 strikeouts. Brian King, I might be on a little bit of a revenge tour too. He didn't have the best 2025 season, but he's looking really good so far. Kaiwei Teng came in. He looks good. Strikeout. He did allow a home run to Wilyer Abreu, but Wilyer Abreu's he's really good. He's the best hitter on Boston currently as of this recording. And then top of the ninth, Brian Abreu comes in, who has looked shaky so far to say the year. And I just think that maybe he wasn't in the right headset in those first 2 outings. What do you think?
No, because what it looks like is when I look at him is that someone told him, hey, you're gonna be closing games probably like a week or two before the season, and he's trying really hard to get in that headspace, and he's just now like trying to figure it out.
Red Sox, top of the ninth, they decided to pinch hit Roman Anthony. The Red Sox decided not to play Roman Anthony today, and because he struck out, I believe, on 9 pitches the other day. I'm not sure if there was a scheduled rest day or because of his performance, but he comes in, immediately hits a nuke off of Brian Abreu, and I'm like, oh my god, here we go again. He's gonna melt down again. But he punches the velo back up to around 96, 97, and he strikes out the next 3 batters he sees, which is promising. Astros win 6-4, and they sweep the Red Sox.
Yeah, and I know everyone's excited, and trust me, I want to get excited as well. But I think the next series is going to tell us where the Astros are at and just how dominant they are. And trust me, being on brand isn't a bad thing. As Noah said before, those prime Astros, they were on brand and they still won a chip and all that, and that's true. But it would be nice to have a season where we don't have to have heart attacks about everything. So if they go in and take care of business against the Athletics, you know, and also not make Noah regret staying up around 12 or 1, that would be
Yes.
good.
It's East Coast games. I am on the East Coast. Being an Astros fan on the East Coast is absolute torture. Games not starting till 9 or 10 o'clock, and it's like I gotta go to work at 7 or 8 in the morning, and you only getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Sometimes I just sleep. Sometimes on West Coast series, I'm just gonna sleep and through them. Through them, I'll try and watch them, but if I fall asleep, I fall asleep.
Yeah, for me, I'm only an hour, behind you, so I watch them. I watch all of them for the most part. Um, and hopefully we can have this whole entire series, like sweep the Athletics, and just start there. Or at least win the series. You know what? I'm not even asking for a sweep. Just win the series.
Yeah, win the series. The Athletics were a team that the Astros struggled with last year mightily. They were kind of like the thorn, they're like the annoying little brother that won't shut up type
Yeah, I'll
thing.
give the Athletics this. Sorry, the Astros this as an excuse. No matter how good they've been throughout the season, sorry, every season, like no matter what year it's been, the Athletics have always found a way to beat us. It doesn't matter how good we are. So I'll give the Astros that. Like you said, they've been the annoying little brother. It's like no matter how good we are, no matter what team we put on the field, they figure out a way to annoy us and beat us. So if we can, like I said, if we can take at least 2 games out of the series, because it's a 3-game series, right? Yeah, if we can just at least take two and win this series, I'll be like, okay, we're probably not on brand this year.
It could be a different brand, maybe making a new
Exactly.
brand.
What's wrong with the brand?
Yeah, Altuve being patient at the plate, the Astros having a whole new hitting approach. We could be in for a
Yeah,
change.
like yeah, the whole lineup was just patient and everything during that whole series. So hopefully we'll bring it all over to. By the way, if I said Oakland by accident a few times, I think I have.
Oakland at the time, but
Sacramento.
now we can call them
Yeah,
Sacramento.
like I was like, I think I did, but I didn't catch myself.
I'll still always inevitably call them the Oakland Athletics. Even probably when they move to Vegas, I'll still probably call them the Oakland
Oh, they're
Athletics.
the homeless athletics.
The homeless Athletics, right?
Yeah, for now. Uh, but all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we got the Astros versus the Sacramento Athletics, or just the Athletics,
Yeah,
whatever name they couldn't trademark. But it'll be Christian Javier versus Jeffrey Springs. I'm a little worried about Christian Javier pitching in a minor league ballpark, especially with his velo being kind of down and he didn't look too good in his last start. So we will see. But the Astros did have an off day today. The bullpen should be ready to piggyback if things do go south for Javier.
thanks to LMJ. He pitched those 7 innings. Uh,
Thank
yeah.
you, LMJ. Thank you, Hunter Brown. Thank you, Mike Burrows, for resetting the
Yep.
bullpen. All right, so we'll be back for at the end of that series. Hopefully, the Astros win that series, maybe even sweep them. But like we said, this is kind of like this is a pretty important series. Most people probably aren't viewing it as an important series, but this could tell a lot of things. It's your first road series trip of the year, 10-game road trip. You got Sacramento, you got Colorado, and you got Seattle. Two West Coast teams. I hate the AL West so
Yeah,
much.
it's not gonna bug me if we lose against Seattle. Seattle's got a really good team. But even if you lose against the Athletics, at least make it competitive. Now the Rockies, on the other hand, if you lose against the Rockies, we needed to have a talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, well, we'll save that for when we actually play
Yeah.
them. But we're about 35 minutes into this. We're gonna
Yeah.
call it here. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you don't won't miss a series recap or a potential live stream when we decide to do that. And go Stros. See you guys after the athletic series. I'm Noah. He's Heel.
See ya.
See ya.